Hmm. Good morning, two baristas. So, what's the point of your video title, Azov? Well, this is a sort of follow-up to an earlier video of Damns No Longer Given. A message requiring repetition, I think, in this election year to cushion us to not be too disappointed in the election results for either prime candidate. But, anyway, it is a valid point, since when has the glorious USA, to quote Borat, ever been a democracy? It's a republic, remember? And let's keep it that way, as the John Birch Society used to say, and libertarians say today. Well, there's truth to that. But there's also the fact that the United States has been struggling with democracy all of its existence, and in general, there has been a slow but steady upward trend in that general direction, until quite recently. You can track the trend by just a quick review of U.S. history. In between the Indian genocide, slave auctions, wars with Mexico and Cuba, witch hunts, both literal and metaphorical, shooting down striking coal miners, and down-home lynching bees, there was a slow but steady upward trend in democratic evolution. Middle-class progressive reformers, secular and religious, along with the labor and civil rights movement, worked long and hard to abolish slavery, extend the voting franchise, first for white males, then white females, then citizens of all complexions, gain rights for working people, end segregation, limit the buying and selling of politicians, protect the rights of the citizen from police harassment and willful imprisonment, the whole regalia, which I'm sure most of you have some familiarity with. The elitist anti-democratic forces never took any of this lying down. They always, at first, mounted rearguard reactionary movements to fight these challenges to their privileges, but in the end, the moderate faction of the American ruling class prevailed, deciding to cooperate with at least the appearance of democracy to co-opt more radical pressures from below and outside. The Cold War, for instance, and maintaining the posture of world leadership had as much to do with passing civil rights as pressure from within the United States. So reform marched right along with repression because it was in the interests of the elite to do so. Now, however, there is no such need. The ruling elites have abandoned democracy, even their marginal Sunday go-to-meeting support for any meaningful democratic input from the masses they exploit. With organized labor busted, a complacent citizenry thinking the reforms of the past can't be taken away, deflected by reality shows from any contact with real reality, how's that for an oxymoron? The Cold War over and the world under the economic thumb of the Washington Wall Street axis of wrongness, they can drop the mask carefully crafted over the 20th century and return to their preferred 19th century ways. Oh, sure, there's still talk about it, as an excuse for invading and imposing one's social system as far, as Stalin once said, as one's army can reach. But notice the preferred term is not democracy, but democratization. There's a reason why this ersatz term is used in preference to the actual word, because the real word, democracy, carries the weight of meaning something. Consent of the governed, government by, of, and for the people, inalienable rights, etc., and such. What does democratization mean? Trying to be democratic, like drinking decaf coffee or sugar-free soda? If you think it's better, but it's not, that's America. Because remember, this is a republic. Rights and opportunities should exist only for those who can use them the most profitably. They're not inborn qualities inherent in you as a human or in your status as a mere citizen, not in a republic as conceived in the United States, as Mr. Rogers might have said. Not in our neighborhood, boys and girls. So how does the abandonment of democracy look in practice? Gulags bursting all over the landscape in Alaska or Death Valley? Mass purges of government? Arrests in the middle of the night? Death squads? No, not yet. They're not going to give you that satisfaction. They used to talk about creeping socialism and the rollback of communism, so the preferred strategy is one of creeping counter-democracy, screwing in restrictions one twist by screw, of rolling back democracy one Supreme Court decision or state legislature at a time. You want to see what de-democratization looks like? Just look around you, those of you in the USA, or nearby, coming to a venue close to you, I guarantee. The worker's right to unionize for protecting his economic liberty is virtually gone, leaving him at the mercy of unelected tyrants called employers, to be grateful he has a place on the plantation. Like other slaves, it should have been grateful they were brought from Africa. Public schools are being handed over to private interests after having greased the wheels of politicians for hire. Centralized testing is being exploited to dismantle public education, break teachers' unions, and create another class of hog-at-the-trough contractors living off tax funding, while the curriculum taught in schools, public or private, amounts to little more than indoctrination imposed by churches, the military, and business. The Supreme Court unties the hands of police at all levels, just to more easily put handcuffs on yours. From Homeland Security, terrorism laws, that is, laws designed to terrorize, to hidden cameras, to drones soon flying over your homes and streets, to their right to arrest you without probable cause, strip you naked, and invade your humanity in the most intimate manner to prolong detention at their discretion. And of course, by rolling back the franchise at the national level, with the Citizens United Supreme Court decision putting every office in the land up for auction as an investment opportunity, or in tandem with this at the local level, by challenging the rights of the poor and off-white and young to vote with new forms of poll taxes. And if you have to pay money to get an ID to vote, that's a poll tax, good people. And let's not forget the deliberate wrecking of the economy by the 1% for the 99%, with those responsible for the financial genocide saved from the consequences of their action, nay, rewarded by elected leaders calling themselves, why, Democrats, of course, the biggest beating of the rap since Nuremberg. First, they rolled back communism, now it's democracy itself. In fact, when they talked about rolling back communism, democracy is what they really meant. Every meaningful forward movement in the U.S. has been plastered with the red bullseye, not because these were Marxist in character, but because they were subversive of property and privilege. In this much, the red baiting was right on target. It was just necessary to camouflage the target so that people wouldn't know it was them until they got the shaft. So, even though it's repetitious, we can say in general that the same process has been at work for the last century or so, but is now being reversed consequentially. Hello. Who's this? Oh my God, it's some East European pain in the ass. Borat? Who? Yakov Smirnoff, the comedian. You just want to remind these viewers, America, what the country? Well, looks like you immigrated all the way over here for nothing. What's that? America is looking now so much like the old country you think you might want to move back there? Nah, it's just stay Putin.